నెక్స్ట్ పెద్దలు ఈ సభకు ముఖ్య అతిథులు డాక్టర్ కేశవరావు గారిని మాట్లాడవలసిందిగా కోరుకుంటున్నాం. కేశవరావు గారు ప్లీజ్.
You're in the mute.
Am I now audible?
Now it's good.
Yeah. Thank you. సంతోషం ఏంటంటే ఫస్ట్ నేను రమేష్ గారిని మహేష్ గారిని అభినందిస్తూ ఉన్నాను. మేము చిన్నగా ఒక ప్రోగ్రాం పెట్టుకొని సంవత్సరం పాటు ఒక ప్రోగ్రాం బివి నరసింహారావు గారి పేరు మీద పెట్టుకోవాలని చెప్పడం, కాశ్యప్ గారు అన్నట్టు దీనికి ముఖ్యంగా ఎవరు ముందుకు వచ్చి చేశారు అంటే ఎవరు కాదు, అది మా ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారు కేసీఆర్ గారు చేయడం వల్ల. ఆయన నేను కొంచెం అంతా పివి గారితో సంబంధం ఉంది కాబట్టి నన్ను చైర్మన్ చేశాడు, ఏదో పార్లమెంటరీ పార్టీ లీడర్ని కాబట్టి కూడా చేయడం జరిగిందేమో. కానీ మనం అందరం ఈ క్రెడిట్ మన ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారికి ఇవ్వాలనుకున్నాం. మేము మాట్లాడుతూ దీన్ని ఇంటర్నేషనల్గా కూడా సెమినార్స్ని ఈ కోవిడ్ టైంలో ఎలా తీసుకెళ్లాలన్నప్పుడు ఈ ఇంటర్నెట్ యూజ్ చేసి టెక్నాలజీని యూజ్ చేసుకొని ఎందరికి మనం రీచ్ అవ్వగలుగుతాం అంత మంచిది అని అనుకున్నాం. రమేష్ ఇంత పెద్దగా ఇప్పటికే 3 కంట్రీస్తోని మమ్మల్ని సంబంధాలు పెట్టాడు. వీ కుడ్ రీచ్ అవుట్ టు దోస్ పీపుల్. ఐఎమ్ వెరీ థ్యాంక్ఫుల్ టు హిమ్. నౌ ఇట్ వాస్ సో నైస్ టు హియర్ కాశ్యప్. I have not known him. I have known him, his father only. He was very good. He gave a perspective of PV. And PV గారి గురించి మాట్లాడాలంటే దినాలు కూడా పట్టవచ్చు, గంటలు కూడా పట్టవచ్చు. ఇక్కడ ఎండ్ అనేది లేదు. అనుభవిదుడని బహుముఖ ప్రజ్ఞశాలి అని ఏదో అది చెప్పుకుంటూ పోతా ఉంటాం, అది ఎండ్ కాదు. ఇన్ని ఉండగా కూడా రమేష్ గారు వీఆర్ లిటిల్ ఆఫ్ ద సేమ్. I'm certainly much senior to him, but even then we can share with you a few things. ఇన్ని ఉండగా కూడా ఇన్ని అచీవ్మెంట్స్ మీరు అంటూ ఉంటే కూడా అందరూ మాట్లాడుకున్నప్పుడు కూడా ఇంత పెద్ద అచీవ్మెంట్స్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతూ ఉన్నప్పుడు కూడా అప్పటికి నేను ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఏది మాట్లాడకూడదు కాబట్టి ఒక కష్టమైన పడ్డా. ఇప్పుడు my difficulty today is I should not touch anything that you already talked, so something else I should touch. ఇది ఒక పారాడాక్స్ అండి, స్టోరీ ఆఫ్ పారాడాక్స్. Silence has a story to convey. పివి నరసింహారావు గారు రిజర్వ్ పర్సనాలిటీ అని, ఆయన సైలెంట్ మనిషి అని, లేదా కాశ్యప్ అన్నట్టు ఇండస్ట్రీ పర్సనాలిటీ అని కొన్ని అభిప్రాయాలు ఉన్నాయి. ఆ అభిప్రాయాలు 1లో పార్ట్లో పెడతాం. సెకండ్ పార్ట్, డిస్పైట్ బీయింగ్ one of the great achievers and a great man, paradoxically is most underrated prime minister. ఎందుకైంది, ఎట్లా అయింది, అది పాలిటిక్స్కి తెలుసు, పాలిటీషియన్స్కి తెలుసు, లేదా హిస్టోరియన్స్కి తెలుసు, లేదా సమయానికి తెలుసు. టైమ్ ఓన్లీ వుడ్ టెల్ us. And our aim in this committee, and the very objective, Ramesh, to organize all this is to fathom the real multifaceted personality of PV Narasimha Rao. What exactly is multifaceted? The word used by the Chief Minister was 360 degrees. A person must be seen from all through. Now, as we go, on one hand, we have this kind of a criticism, which you might have read, Arjun Singh and also Kuldeep Nair and blah, 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 lot of 4 or 5 people. They are important people, but their writings in that particular thing was not really that relevant as they should have otherwise been. ఏదో అది ఇచ్చారు. దానికి ఆన్సర్ ఇప్పుడు మేము చూస్తూ ఉంటే, ఏ తీరుగా అయితే మేము ఈ సెమినార్లో పోతున్నాము, ఏ తీరుగా మేమేదో బుక్ పబ్లిష్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నాము, కాఫీ టేబుల్ బుక్, దాంట్లో ది ఆర్టికల్స్ దట్ వీఆర్ రిసీవింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ ది టాప్ prominent persons, the prime ministers for the countries also including. So the చూస్తూ ఉంటే people have realized that he was a great man. Chancellor said, Chancellor Kohl said he's a great man. That means, and at that time also people knew he was such a great man. But we did not get that kind of an impression when we were reading about him. We were why? That I already said, I'm not getting into that thing. But a day would come in this 1 year celebrations where we would not expose, but we would speak out and tell you why this is happening. While in Tunanga, the moment you think of the previous name, you think of economic reforms. And no less a person than economists, great economists like Manmohan Singh said, is the father of the economic reforms. What more do we want? I have his message sent for my edition. Now, where people speak to him as a great reformer worth the top. So, Mahesh Annattu, we're fathoming, we are reaching out to these kinds and these things. So, the object of our 1 year celebration or the programs that we designed is only to see that we try to find him out, not one degree, 2 degrees, no. We would like to find him out. He's an integrated personality. As Kashyap has very rightly said, I would say the right word in our Indology would be Chittaprajna. He's untouched by anything, what goes around him, but he is within it. As he said, he was seeking change with continuity, which the great philosophers earlier did ask. So he belonged to that kind of a Tattva Shastram, a philosophical thought process. So we know that what he was doing. And those who were closer to him in those days, particularly the Telangana movement, know that he was the most decisive man a decision maker can be. Chapalan ledu. మిమ్మల్ని క్వశ్చన్ అడగడంతోనే ఏదో మిమ్మల్ని ఏ తీరుగా చూస్తారంటే ఏమరా ఇటువంటి క్వశ్చన్ నన్ను అడిగింది ఏంటి అనేసి మీకు ఫేస్లో కనపడుతుంది ఆయనకి. బట్ విత్ ఇన్ 1 or 2 moments, immediately you saw a composed man answering every part of what you asked. So that is the distance. So reticence is not indecisiveness. Reticence is giving time for thought process to evolve. So that was PV. So I know silent, but all right, he was silent, no doubt about it. He was not flamboyant, flashy type of people. He belonged to that school of thought and that generation. So he came with that kind of a totally new personality as such. ఏంటి మన చూడవలసిందేంటి రావడంతోనే ఏ కాలంలో వచ్చారు మీరు క్రైసిస్ పీరియడ్ అన్నారు without touching your subject. I would only say when he came, there was the Sikh riots were still continuing in Punjab. The LTT issue was very much there. The internal security issues were very much there. Assam issue was really burning. As far as that's concerned, and internationally, the Soviet Union was getting dissolved at that time. With the 2-block system went, the choppy waters of Cold War were really untied. So he went through all those things, and he did. He went and bought which one? Soki 61 from Russia, only to establish, not because we needed that 16 fighters, only to tell that we still stand by you in that particular time. That people were not looking at the East. He started Look East policy. Entire world's look went towards East. And Israel, against the entire national opinion, why decisiveness, when you're talking about decisiveness, he took a decision and opened the doors, diplomatic relations with Israel. This nobody could imagine at that particular time that he would do it. That was another part as far as the external affairs are concerned. As far as the economics are concerned, believe me, when he came in, it was really in the middle. We had the worst kind of crisis as far as the economics are concerned. Our gold was mortgaged in London Bank. And when we asked IMF that we will rather put them in our own banks in our central bank with lock and key kept to the IMF. They did not agree. That means even the confidence in the nation was going down. That was the time. You can imagine people in Germany, the boys, the friends or colleagues who are there, who are hearing me, must understand the spirit of it. That was the crisis period when he came in. He did not bother. Minatauta Jurandi, Chadrakunda, Bhaypadakunda, ముందు కొత్త సాక్షాపోయాడు కానీ అరే ప్రాబ్లం ఉంది అని ఆ కాశ్యప్కి కానీ కాశ్యప్ తండ్రికి కానీ అలా పెద్ద ఆయనకి కానీ చెప్పలేదు. But he took on to himself and decided and went out. And what happened? Within one year, you had gold back. నేను చెప్పాలంటే many people have made a study, but my study is, he is the person, he revalued rupee. He valued rupee 2 times, not once. Then he opened our exchange value, both to market and to the standard selling. ఎవరికైనా కావాలంటే గవర్నమెంట్ తీసుకోవచ్చు, గవర్నమెంట్ స్టాండర్డ్ తోని డాలర్ కొనొచ్చును, లేదంటే మార్కెట్లో కొనాలంటే మార్కెట్లో కొనొచ్చును. దిస్ and that investment within 1 year could get back my gold within 6 months. This is how he went. And a socialist like him, Ramanand Tirtha గురించి మాట్లాడాడు కాశ్యప్ గారు. ఆయన సోషలిస్ట్. అప్పుడు మాకు 2 ఉంటుండే. ఇప్పుడు రమేష్ ఫాదర్. They all come from absolutely committed left thinking. ఈయన అంత పెద్ద కమిటెడ్ కాకపోయినా కానీ ఈ వాజ్ ఎ లెఫ్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద సెంటర్ ఉండే. ఆయన తర్వాత ఏమైందో నేను చెప్పలేను కానీ అంతవరకు ఈవెన్ ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ ఉన్నప్పుడు కూడా మీరు హీస్ లిబరలైజ్ పాలసీ, his privatization policy, his globalization policy. They are 3 together as far as he is concerned. He grouped the 3 together so that there is a social responsibility always attached to it. That is, the national interests are never sacrificed. Globalization లోపల ఏదైనా మనం ఇంటర్నేషనల్ మాట్లాడుకున్నప్పుడు నేషనల్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద ఫస్ట్ అంటాం. ఆ తీరుగా ముందుకు తీసుకొచ్చాడు ఎకనామిక్ రిఫార్మ్స్ కూడా. ఆయన బిగురించే మీరు అన్నట్టు ఈజ్ రెవల్యూషనరీ అన్నారు. వాట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ రెవల్యూషనరీ ఈస్ wherever he goes, he seeks a change. That is revolution. Every time when you seek a change, it is revolution. Once you want a change, it is because of the circumstances and the time that tells you that you go further. But when you are also, ఆయన ఫస్ట్ మినిస్టర్ ఒక స్టేట్గా ఫస్ట్ మినిస్టర్ ఎండోమెంట్స్ మినిస్టర్ అండి. ఎండోమెంట్ మినిస్టర్ కూడా ఎండోమెంట్ కాంప్రహెన్సివ్ యాక్ట్ తెచ్చారండి. ఇవాళ టోటల్ ఎండోమెంట్ ల్యాండ్స్ మనకు తెలియదు, మోర్ దెన్ దట్ ఆఫ్ ది టోటల్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఎక్స్చెకర్. Ramesh, for you to study this for your legislative debates. We had that. The entire thing was in the hands of 5, 10, I'm only giving a figurative here, that few people, few priests. Dani enta correct chesarante, so he went on. He became jails minister, ordinary portfolio jails. He went and started schools in jails. He made the first open jail system came to Hyderabad under him. మీరు హెల్త్ గురించి మాట్లాడారు. హెల్త్ గురించి మాట్లాడితే హెల్త్ అసిస్టెంట్స్ వాళ్ళు మాట్లాడుతున్నారు, ఆశాలని. దట్ వాస్ స్టార్టెడ్ బై పివి నరసింహారావు. He had health ladies, health women, health workers all over the country, all over the mandals. See, you give him any ministry, he would think of what he should do, like education. As state level education, I took over education after him, not immediately after him, but after him, after 2-3 times. So education, he said, we always talk, education system bagaledu antam. Can change cheyadelukoledu manamu. We don't say one question paper that comes once in a year, and if a boy does not know the six questions or 10 questions that are put in, and he fails, he might know everything about the subject, but that 10 perhaps he might not know, or 3 he might not know, he fails. Why should he do? You have to test a person, comprehend him, Comprehensively, you should look into these things. Andurjamana detention system, this is certain. See, these are very revolutionary things. The more you think of them, you would understand what kind of revolutionary ideas he had. We went to the Union Ministry Center and became Education Minister, and he was the author or co-author or whatever he had his role in preparing the second educational policy. We have the new educational policy here, on which I will not comment because I went to make my presentation in the Parliament. But the presentation he made in the second education policy was so great. He started and saying the only thing is defect is everybody loves learning, but where are the wherewithals? Where is the accessibility? Where should he go? And the moment he goes, his father thinks that he is a better wage earner than a learner. So residential schools annadu. Residential school oka style ga design unde private lopala appudu kuda. He said as a rule you must have residential schools. So every state was forced to have residential schools. And Mother surveillance residential school which has produced not less than 10 to 20 IS officers, 10 to 12 IS officers. So he knew once you take care of a boy, how he grows and how he evolves, surrounding locala, he picks up on it. But he is a thinker, a revolutionary thinker who seeks a change. And of course, continuity and continuum in philosophy are part of it. A man is essentially a becoming, but at the same time is being. I am Keshav Rao now talking to you. Within 1 second, I have changed. I am 80 plus 1 minute more. So this is inbuilt. So he said, why? So we are not doing something good. And you bring the same thing in the consensus. He's such a greatest diplomat. Consensus is to involve two parties. Decision making involves only one party. Consensus involves two. Whether you hear him or not, it is you involve the two people, you discuss with them, and you give your own wisdom, your own idea. And if it succeeds, it is a wisdom. If it doesn't succeed, somewhere it failed. You can't guarantee the success of a very point. So consensus. Then when I was writing a souvenir for Tirupati, when he became the Prime Minister, I was the editor of the souvenir. When I said master of consensus, then he made in a speech, he said, consensus is not my discovery. He's such a great man. He took that part and said, consensus is not my discovery. It is there from the Vedic times, in the pre-Vedic times too. After all, when two people join together, so when you live in society, man doesn't live alone. It is consensus only. So these kind of things, he's a great man. Mahesh Garu, I'm really thankful to you, the way you are trying to organize this. What we need to do is, I'm now with, I'm taking from Ramesh, I'm putting this responsibility to Dr. Ramesh, because he said, he's a great Indologist. Krishnamurthy garu unde ma Usman University lo bara. Was a great friend of Actually, Narsimha Rao and this Kochi another department, he became Vice Chancellor of the Central University. And Narsimha Rao garu Central University lo bara. So appudichi ayani all of the speech untunde meer annattu science Germany ki ayaniki unna sambandham can be science, can be Max Muller, can be anybody else. But adi teesukochi, as he says, there are a lot of good speeches and good writings or good material about him connected to Germany, and we must collect. Ramesh, you owe us this much of a job that you please give us, because we are thinking of bringing a compendium on which we are trying to take all that what he wrote. So as far as the last words, I would say what we are trying to do in the committee is, first we would like to build a memorial in his name at the near Ghat, and entire the area, that Necklace Road or whatever you call will be PV Road, or I will say PV Vanam. We'll design it in that way. Then we'll have a memorial, a good memorial. Then we would like to invite somebody top. We are thinking of many names, including Clinton and others who work with him, to come and give some endowment lecture as far as in India. Then we would like to have 2 seminars, one on his life and another on economic reforms by top people. I'll be governors who are retired and the economists. And here his writers or whoever it is, very close to him, but eminent people are to the seminars. Besides this, the states will have 4 or 5 states have been selected where we'll have these seminars. Plus, we would like to have statues of PV spread all over the country. So at least we have now spotted 6 states where we'll put his statues to commemorate him. This is how we would like to go, and we are bringing out, as I've already said, the coffee table book, and along with it, one centenary book evaluating P.V. Narsimha Rao, contributed by all great researchers and thinkers, and about it, that will be this over in the centenary publication. Then we have a compendium made of all the speeches, all his writings, as it is this Kashyap's family, that is P.V. Narsimha Rao's family, has collected. They say 1,000 pages so far, and you are saying 100 pages you have collected in Germany. Like that, Germany has some important significance for me, because the philosophical aspect of PV has always been explained and expressed in the shape of a religion, in a religious man. But essentially, believe me, he was more a philosopher than a religious man. Though religion and philosophy are intertwined, indelible as far intertwined as far as Indian thought is concerned. But as to say, it was I'll give one example. I had invited him to Usmania University to speak on Aurobindo, Sri Aurobindo. He said, look, I might know anything, but not very much on Aurobindo. I will not be able to speak at all on Aurobindo. Too much of mysticism, too much of philosophy, I have not been. But he did come. He spoke for 48 to 50 minutes, uninterrupted, absolutely silent, bound room, and we know what he was. So my friend Ramesh's suggestion that I should plow into the libraries there and find out the books or writings is a great suggestion that I think Mahesh should follow it up with the help of Ramesh, and also Arvind, who is there in Germany. He'll help us. Let us do it. Whatever it is, let us all, this is all one side. Let us not only remember him, commemorate him, try to follow him as far as possible, because he was never selfish. He always thought of the cause, then the person. So any issue that comes to him, there could be 2 aspects. One is selfish aspect, another is the other aspect. He was not selfish. I can also say for it with all authority at my command that he was a great man, and let his legacy be taken up, taken long, let it endure for years to come. Thank you very much. Thank you, Arvind. Thank you very much.